So, cost of living, indirect and direct taxes too high. Are we all agree with this? Yeah. The UK is the third highest tax country in the world. Scandinavia is number one, by the way, but UK is very up there. Indirect tax is huge. VAT is 20%, but there's other taxes that you're not aware of. So basically, people are paying 60 to 70% tax of their income. Okay, so wages are not increasing. Now, let me just put this into perspective. What you've got in the UK is property prices have done this, but the wages have done this. So the people on salaries can no longer afford to buy a house. Okay? It's not okay. Exactly. But these are the facts. Massive shortage of affordable housing. Around 300 homes are needed urgently, but actually it's about 5 million. So that's an article in the Financial Times, but it's very understated. London is bonkers. Cheapest central London rates are £3,000 per month, as you know, because you're in London. Yeah. Commuters are travelling from Barcelona to commute to their job in London. So there are people that live in Barcelona that commute to London to work. Interesting? Yeah. Yes? Are you surprised? What's your name?
Surasak.
Sorry? I'm sacked. What?
Yes, sacked. Yes, you can call
I'm
me.
sacked. You said I was sacked a minute ago. Surasak, where are you from?
Thailand.
Thailand.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Well, I was sent here to school and I went on to university.
Whereabouts in Thailand are you from?
From the northeast. So this place is called Udon.
Chiang Mai?
No, that's north. I mean, northeast like Lincoln here.
Okay. Yeah, I've been to Thailand many times, but I don't know it as well as you, obviously. So you're learning anything today?
Yes, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so the facts are the banks have changed the rules. You now need a big deposit to get on the property ladder. Are we agreed with this? Yes or yes? Right? So that means first-time buyers need £30,000 cash to move into the cheapest area in the UK. In London, need a £100,000 cash deposit. Yes? Okay, so this is a renter's market, and the demand for renting is insane because nobody can afford to buy. So that means rentals are going up. Now, as a landlord, that's fantastic. Would you agree or not agree? Yeah. However, if they go up too much, people aren't going to afford to rent. They're going to be in social housing. Does anyone know what social housing is? What is social housing? Social housing is normally owned by housing associations. Could be council, but it's not really council because council now is a better standard than social housing. And there is a desperate shortage of social housing in the UK. There's just hardly anything there. So the facts are there is an epidemic of homelessness and financial struggle. Now, a lot of people in this room are not aware of it because you don't see it. I've spent the 4 days, I've seen it. So I'm convinced. And, you know, this is a massive problem. So another bit of information for you. Out of every 100 people who finish work after 40 years, 1 is financially independent, 4 are still working because they have to, 36 are dead. 59 are dead broke. They're relying welfare, handouts, credit cards, this kind of thing. But at 65, 36 people out of 100 are dead. What do you think about that? Are you 65? Thank God for that. It's like they work every day until they're 65 and they finally finish work and they go, dead. Unbelievable, isn't it? This is true, guys, right? Also, this is interesting. Please read this first. This is relative to the United States. In the United States, they have the 401k, that's called their pension. In 2008, the average was $129,000 US. In 2009, the value dropped to $61,000. That means if you were an American, if you withdrew your pension in 2009, you would have got you would have got less than half if you'd done it the year before. Now, can anyone tell me why that happened? No photographs, please, guys. This is my intellectual property. Because believe it or not, I've got a brain somewhere. Because the pensions invested in subprime mortgages. Because the pensions were led to believe that subprime mortgages were the safest investment, and they were not. They were the riskiest. Okay? So people lost half the pension. Now, in the UK, retirement ages have been increased. Pensions over 55 have been released for people to self-manage and purchase investment property. Younger than 55 can opt for a SAS. Now, there are some people that I've talked about this before to people, but for the people that don't know this, any questions? You have to have a military training, SAS. Okay, so SAS is Small Business Self-Administration Scheme. That means you can open a business, you can withdraw your pension as a loan to the business, and you can use that business to buy property. Is that sexy? Yes. Hello? Yes. Earth to London. Is that interesting for you? Yes? Again, I'm overwhelmed by the complete excitement of the audience today. So, has anyone in this room applied for a SAS scheme yet?
No, how we need to apply?
Well, I am not a SAS specialist. Okay? So what you do is you have to find an accountant that specializes in SAS withdrawals. If you are a member of mine, or you know me, I, of course, will easily help you with that particular strategy. Okay? Most people, would you agree with me that most people don't know about this? So it's not, why is it not freely available? Because this country does not publish those facts. Some people live a lie for all their life. And in fact, most people in this country are only able to buy one house in their entire lifetime. When the truth is, you could buy 150 every year. Okay, so please read this. If you've got children and they ask you why you have to go to school, please read the answer from the parent. Can you see that? Any questions? Now, this is a statement, actually, it's a statement from a guy called Noam Chomsky. Some people might have heard of him as a very powerful leader of the truth, getting the truth out there. But the truth is the education system that you subscribe to yourself or send your children to is not relevant anymore in life or of value in basically ensuring security and financial freedom. That is what I'm saying to you. Does that make sense to everybody? So, for example, let me put this in real terms. When is the last time you used Pythagoras? Sorry? You're using it next week. You're the first person I've talked to in 10 years that's actually using it. Cool. When is the last time you used a quadratic equation? You've used it to make money? No, thank you. When is the last time you used the medieval history of England from 1066 to 1216? Have you used that recently? Thank you very much for proving my case. Right? Most of the stuff you learn in school is not relevant and it does not serve you financially. Are we agreed on the same page here? Yes. So you have to stop sending your kids to school. No, you don't like that, do you? Can I tell you the reason why parents send the kids to school? The real reason, to get them out of the bloody house for 8 hours a day. That's the truth, right? Am I right or not? That's the bloody truth. You don't give a crap. Really, you don't, because if they're out of the way, that's fine. You've got your own space, right? But I'm telling you right now, if you have children, you've got to change the way they're educated, because what they're learning now is never going to make them any money. And the people that they're learning from, they're called school teachers. Are there any school teachers here? Thank God. Oh my God, there's a school teacher there. It's okay, we know each other, we're best friends. But if you are a school teacher, you're one of the poorest paid people on the planet, right? And the kids are learning from you, and you're financially broke, and you're teaching that for 8 hours a day of how to be financially broke, in essence. Because the information you're teaching is not used in real life. Does that make sense or not make sense? I love you, darling. I'm sorry. I had to say it. Okay? That's another, we'll talk about that later on our own. Right. So this is where Channel 4 found me, because when I said I was going to give a flat away, the Daily Mail got hold of the story and they published it all over the internet. So that was the first house that I'm giving away today. It's now gone up in value. It was £125,000. Wow, isn't that fantastic? Right. So this is me. This is in Preston in Lancashire, and the flat is one of these blocks. Is in one of those blocks. So I was walking around Preston with the sign "Free Flat." Can you imagine what happened?
They all ignored you.
A lot of people ignored me.
Yeah.
A lot of people shouted at me.
They didn't believe you.
A lot of people pointed at me and said, "That's a scam." They didn't believe me. Thank you. You're absolutely correct. Right. So this is an email from Sam Grace at Boomerang Productions that's filming the first episode. You can read that if you want to prove, if you need proof that this is true, right? I'll show you everything. So it says there, hope you're well, psyched about starting the film Monday. Can't quite believe we finally got to the stage where we can turn the camera on. Just wanted to send you the latest draft of the press release. I had to go through it, various Channel 4 lawyers, and past Amy, the director of TV of Channel 4, because to get the final version out. So what I'm saying is, to give a free house away, you have to go through lawyers to make sure that you can give the free house away. Before it can be broadcast, Channel 4 need to know that it's going to be genuine. Does that make sense or not? Boomerang make a series called Posh Porn, and they make a series called The Most Expensive Toys. They made other stuff like that. So, press release. This is the press release that went out in the Lancashire Evening Post today. If you want to read that, go ahead and read it. Any questions, let me know. If you can't see it, I'll show you later. And you apply on myfreeproperty.com. Please do not apply for that, guys, in the room today if you want to have a second house. Because this is a special group of people. So who am I? Has anyone heard of me before they came today? You have? Wow. Really? Yeah. What way? Instagram.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What's your name?
What, on Instagram?
Yes.
Pablo Van Kenobi, I think.
I like it. I like the name. I like the name. Are you a Star Wars fan, clearly?
No.
No. So you've gone against Star Wars fans? Yes, okay. So anyone else, anyone not heard of me before they came today? Fantastic. That's not actually normally, it's everyone's hands goes up. I like that. It's good. My social media is working. So, I am a school dropout. I don't have a job, and I was born with no silver spoon. Okay? Now, that might be you in this room here today. But what I'm saying is, well, let me ask you a question. Who in this room has a degree? Wow. Who has an education? Oh, hang on a minute. You got a degree. We don't have an education. That's interesting. Does anyone pay for their degree? Did anyone get it paid for them? I mean parents. I don't mean scholarships. Okay, so here's the question. Has your degree helped you become financially free? No. Mr. Pravin? What did you study? Medicine. Different ball game. Yes, I can understand. But a lot of people study medicine don't become rich. Comfortable. Because it gives you a high salary, doesn't it, when you get into medicine? Now, saying that, I was at a food bank in Blackburn on Tuesday, and they were telling me that, because I was asking what kind of people come and ask for food urgently, I said, well, we had a doctor last week coming for food because he injured at work, didn't have any income anymore, and he went to the food bank because he had no money.
Some doctors having to close their surgeries down and getting bankrupt because they haven't got enough money to pay for it.
Yes. Yeah, so that's an issue, isn't it? It's quite amazing, isn't it? Do you think people who go to food banks are all homeless? They're not. They're people in an unfortunate situation, and they've got nowhere to turn to, you know? So what I'm saying is, isn't it interesting? I always say this because I like saying it. I'm a school dropout, I don't have a degree or any qualifications, yet you took your time to come and see me today to teach you how to be well off. Do you find that ironic?
Yeah.
That your education system has not served you financially?
No.
that why is there not a place that you could go to, an institution, to learn what I'm sharing with you today? Because if education worked financially, I'd be sat there, you'd be stood here. You should not be listening to a school dropout about making money. All right? Conventionally, think about it. So, this is me. I'm published quite a lot as an author. I'm also published a few articles. That was me in the newspaper, front page of a newspaper in Asia, predicting the Singapore and Malaysia and China property markets would crash. That was published in 2012. The markets crashed in 2014. So when I say stuff, a lot of people don't believe it. And the great thing is that most of the time I get it right. I don't get it right 100%. No one ever does that. But from the stuff I've learned how to research, would that help anybody? Yes. Hello? Yes or yes? Yes. Fantastic. So, law number 1. Rich people own companies. Poor people work for companies. Any questions? Suddenly the room has gone quiet. Why is this true? Because people are educated to become an employee. They are not educated to become a business owner and entrepreneur. The system does not serve those people, it serves employees, because it serves a system where the government wants people coming out of school that can get jobs and pay tax. Correct. It's a vicious circle all the time, right? So, these are some of the companies that I own. Can you read that? How many companies are there?
Over 10. Over 11.
There's too much nakedness. So I own about, I think it's 25 companies now. Plus I own SPVs that own properties, okay? So let's see how those, would you like to see how those businesses are performing? Yeah. Hello? Yeah. Anybody there? Yeah. Are you sure you've gone to sleep? Are you okay? Yeah. Sure? Yes. Yeah, you can get water or anything you want to break, no problem. Right, so, first of all, I've got a business where we pay you to go on holiday. Have I got your attention now? I had to get your attention in some way. So I thought I'd start a business and pay you to go on holiday today to get your attention.
Sounds good.
Sounds good, yeah? Now that business is called Naked Travel. That is a fully ABTA and atoll protected travel agency. For the people that do not or are not in travel, to be able to get those licenses for a travel agent is extremely difficult, because you're protecting people's travel, all right? So what we do is we pay you to go on holiday, so we can pay you rewards, and you can earn cryptocurrency when you go away on holiday. Does that sound interesting? Yes. As a concept? Yes. Now, I also own I also pay you to go and eat. Would anyone like to be paid to eat? Yes. Got your attention now? You like to be paid to eat? Oh, yeah. Yes, so I own a restaurant called Naked Restaurant, funnily enough. But I'm also affiliated to over 20,000 restaurants around the world where you can actually get paid and earn rewards that you can trade in for US dollars or any other currency and you can spend. How does that sound? Yeah. Right. Hello? Anybody in? Yeah. Right. This is me with Robbie Fowler. Does anyone heard of Robbie Fowler? Yeah. You won't know him, Anna, but he's a very famous English footballer, plays for Liverpool in England. Now, Robbie Fowler was the first Premier League footballer to invest heavily in property. He owns hundreds of houses. Okay? So he came over to Indonesia, Singapore, and Malaysia. He did an interview with me on Bloomberg, which is on YouTube. You can access it anytime you want. And he now asks me advice of what to do next with his investments. And then he came over to open Naked Restaurant with me because he likes the name. My restaurant won Tatler's Best Restaurant in 2015. I'm not a restaurateur, but I made sure that any business that I start as an entrepreneur, the first thing I think about is the quality and then the branding. Does that make sense, everybody, or not? Is that a pretty good award? Tatler's Best Restaurant's pretty cool, right? By the way, I also have a movie company called the Naked Film Foundation. And we're making our first movie, feature film, this year. So is there anyone here that would like to be in a movie? Not Star Wars. So that film that I'm making is called Truth 99. It's the true story of Vladimir Putin's rise to power and how he killed 300 people in the Ukrainian apartment block. And I play an ex-MI6 agent. Pretty cool, right? So I funded the movie myself. It cost €500,000. But now we're on stage 2 where we've got some stars that are interested in starring in it and taking my role, because I'm not famous, obviously, as that role. So we might be able to raise some more money. But what I'm saying is, I've been able to make movies. Now it's the first year I'm doing that because of the things I'm doing. Sound fun? So what I'm doing is doing everything that I love to do. So now, what else? We pay you to wear the best cruelty-free cosmetics in the world. The guys are sat shouting, yay. I'm a bit concerned about that. Do you wear makeup? So I own a cosmetics company called NKDB, which is short for Naked Beauty, funnily enough, right? The company's called Fourth Base Cosmetics. Because the reason it's called Fourth Base Cosmetics is because to get to fourth base with, the lover of your dreams. First base, second base, third base, home run, if you get what I mean, yeah? So Naked Bee, the products are completely cruelty-free, not tested on animals, no parabens, are halal, and are packed with anti-aging ingredients. The products were so well received that we sponsored the MTV European Music Awards last year. So we had the artists wearing the makeup at the awards. And we also sponsored the Unsigned Music Awards, which is actually more fun than the MTV Awards. And the guy behind the camera today that's filming this event is actually one of the directors of the Unsigned Music Awards. Give him a round of applause for starting that movement. And what they do is they get people that are not signed by record labels and they get them out there, make them famous, and it's an amazing thing, right? So we sponsor the best female solo act, and also we pay you to invest even in property. Oh, now we're getting more wows. Wow. The things I have to do to get one wow is I have to pay you to buy property. Yes. What do you mean, yes? So, that's called Freedom Investor and some other companies that we own. That's our track record last year. These are the kind of apartment blocks that we buy. I'll show you an example of one. We won the People's Choice Best Real Estate Investment Company last year. Is this a pretty good award? I'm not saying this to be egotistical or show off in any way. I'm sharing this to share with you that I have a track record. Is that okay with you guys? Yeah? We pay you to be educated, to be financially free. So let me ask you a question. Who in this room would like to be paid to learn everything from my mind in the next year? Do you have an agreement on this? Does that sound a good proposition, sir?
Sounds good.
Sounds very naked? Yes. Okay, so that's my website. This is me speaking to literally thousands of people. That was an event for an insurance company. There was 5,000 people at that event. So I get invited to speak all over the world, corporate occasions, individuals, that kind of stuff. We also have an impressive list of corporate clients and partners who are using our award-winning incentives and naked dollars to reward their clients. Would you like to see some of those companies? So what I'm doing now is I'm edifying what I'm doing because I'm proving to you that I have corporate clients of rather, kind of good backgrounds that are already using my products to help them get more sales in their companies. Is that exciting? So here's some of the companies. BMW, Mercedes, Shell, Petronas, Reader's Digest, Citibank, Remy Martin, StarHub, Nikon, Proton, Sephora, lots of different companies, and there are more. So these are our clients of mine already. Now, the people that have known me a little bit longer know about the new rich list and what I'm doing with that. These are some of our clients already, Sharon. Is that interesting? Yes. This is my office in Malaysia for the rich list. We also have offices all over the world. And this is, Market Watch is the biggest website in the world that announces the next big thing. So I was featured on Market Watch saying award-winning investor launches UK's first funding and accelerator program. It says #1 best-selling author is launching this, the new rich list, the world's first funding and accelerator company. So what I do is I also fund entrepreneurs and I accelerate you. It's like Dragon's Den meets The Apprentice. Yeah. It was also featured on Yahoo Finance. This is the rich list. We do exhibitions all over the world. Yes, sir? You want to be funded?
We're talking about you.
Yeah.
So, and we're talking about Malaysia there.
Yeah.
I noticed your Dado Shri.
Yes.
I know there's hard to get Dado
Yes.
and possible to get Dado Shri.
Yes.
What did you do to get Dado Shri?
I begged.
I tell you.
What's your name, sir?
Gavin Tokley.
Are you from Australia?
Yes, I am Australian. I lived in Malaysia for 6.5 years doing low-cost housing projects. And I frequented these types of people.
Yes.
And would there be 8 Dado Shris in Malaysia?
Yes. So can you explain to the audience what a Dato Seri is in English equivalent?
The Prime Minister is Dado Shri.
Yeah.
Well, the ex-Prime Minister, because not even, I don't think the current one is he?
Najib is a Dato Seri.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, it's, let's say, top 10 in the country, people.
So what he's saying is I got an award from Malaysia. It's called the Dato Seri. It's the title. So the reason I got this title is because of my charity work and what I did with business over there as I helped the people prosper. I'll show you that in a minute to explain. But yes, to get it, there was a lot of work. So here's something I want you to read. When you've read it, let me know. Does that mean you've read it? Because I can't read your mind. Yes. Right. Any questions? No property, asset, or stock has ever done that. So something else has, and that's cryptocurrency. Right? So cryptocurrency, an example is Bitcoin. It's not $700 now. It actually went to $1,200 in December. Now it's going back up again to about $950. Okay, so no other investment has done that over a 6-year period, or in fact even a longer period than that. Is that shocking to some people in this room? Is that interesting? It's interesting because this is the new way that people are going to operate in this world. That means people are going to have more control over the money they make and invest. Does that sound like music to your ears? So, cryptocurrency is a digital currency in which encryption techniques are used to regulate the generation of units of currency and verify the transfer of funds operating independently of a central bank. Decentralized cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin now provide an outlet for people to create something beyond restriction. So cryptocurrency uses cryptography that cannot be touched by the government and can't be touched by banks. Does that make sense, guys? So cryptocurrency is a digital currency. It is decentralized. That means the banks cannot control it. The banks have nothing to do with it. So it exists because of cryptography. It's coded. Okay? Now, we have another company called Naked Technologies where we own the proprietary technology for our currency, naked dollars.